Conference play starting in college basketball. West Virginia opens the season with the Texas Shorthorns. Can the Mountaineers take down the Shorthorns? Stay tuned, I'll tell you. What is up, college sports fans, fellow members of Mountaineer Nation? This is Coos, and once again, I'm coming to you from the hills of wild and wonderful West Virginia, and this is Coos' Corner. Before I get into the show and break down West Virginia's upcoming basketball game against the Texas Shorthorns, I ask that if you haven't yet, please hit the red subscribe button. It's absolutely free, doesn't cost you a thing. If you get a few minutes in the video and like it, give me the thumbs up, please. Share it with your college sports loving friends. Let's get on with the show. As I look at this game between West Virginia and the 17th ranked Texas Longhorns, the game will be played in Austin, Texas on New Year's Day, January 1st at 12 p.m. and will air on ESPNU. The odds of the game, according to ESPN, Texas is favored and has a 79% chance of winning versus West Virginia's 21% chance of winning. Texas has a 10-2 record on the year. West Virginia sits at 11-1. Now, when I look at the schedules for these two teams, I don't understand really, to be honest, why Texas is ranked 17th and West Virginia isn't ranked at all. Texas has not. The only win Texas has against another Power 5 opponent is over Stanford, who's 8-4 on the year. They have no ranked wins, and their two losses are to ranked teams, but nonetheless they're losses. You look at West Virginia has actually beaten 15th ranked UConn at home. They've also got a win over a Power 5 Clemson team and a Power 5 Pitt team. Now, neither of those teams are good, but they won the games. And yet they've beaten a UAB team who's good, and their only loss is to Marquette, who's not a bad team at all either. So I don't understand the AP polls reasoning behind it, but you know what? It really don't matter at this point in the season. So when you look at the team stats, and I'll throw them up on the screen for you, West Virginia is averaging 70.4 points per game. Texas is at 72.1. Points against, West Virginia is at 59.8. Texas is at 51.3, which, by the way, is good for number one in the nation in scoring defense. Field goal percentage, West Virginia 45, Texas 47.5. Rebounds per game, West Virginia 33.6, Texas 33.8. Assists per game, West Virginia 11.3, Texas 14.8. Blocks, West Virginia 5.3 a game, Texas is at 3.4 a game. Steals per game, West Virginia is at 8.8, Texas is at 9.6. And then winning streak, West Virginia has won eight in a row after their loss to Marquette, and then Texas has won 4 in a row after their last loss, which was to 23rd ranked Seton Hall. Now, some other things to talk about here. When you look at the blocks per game, even though Texas is at 3.4, I think that will go up because big man inside named Dylan Dessou, hope I got that name right. He's a transfer out of Vanderbilt. They've got him back now. He's only played 4 games for them, and he is a shot blocker. He's averaging 2.5 blocks a game right now in the 4 games he's played for the Longhorns. You look at both of these teams are really good at turning their opponents over. West Virginia is 14th in the country, forcing 18.4 turnovers a game, and then Texas is right behind them at 17th, forcing 18.17 a game. Texas is 3rd nationally in turnover margin with 7.5, and West Virginia is 7th nationally with a turnover margin of 6.7. Texas is 73rd nationally in three-point percentage defense, allowing 30.2% shooting by their opponents from 3. Can the Mountaineers exploit that with Sean McNeill, Taz Sherman, and some of these other shooters? We will see, but that could be a key factor in this game. Now let's look at some player stats. West Virginia obviously led in scoring by Taz Sherman. He's averaging 20.9 points a game. Not only one of the best scorers in the Big 12, but maybe one of the best scorers nationally. He's also the team's leading. He's also leading the team in assists with 2.8 a game. He's shooting 35.4% from 3 and 44.2% from the floor overall. You've got Jalen Bridges leading the team in rebounding at 5.1 a game. He's also averaging 7.3 points a game, shooting 46% from the floor and 34% from 3. And then obviously the second leading scorer on the team, Sean McNeill, 3-point shooting specialist, averaging 14 points a game, shooting 36.8% from 3, 44.8% overall from the floor. Last game out against Youngstown State, he scored 23 points, all of them coming in the second half. Guy didn't even attempt a shot in the first half. Came out in the second half, dropped 23 points, Went 4 for 4 from 3-point range, 8 for 8 from the floor, I think it was. Somebody correct me in the comment section if I'm wrong on those stats, but I do know he didn't miss a shot. And I know he made at least 4 3-pointers because they made a big run in the second half, and he dropped 4 in that stretch. And then another key player in this game for West Virginia, in my opinion, is Kedrian Johnson. Kedrian Johnson is averaging 2 steals a game, and he's been critical on the ball defense. Bob Huggins says he's one of the best on-ball defenders in the nation, in his opinion. So Kedrian Johnson wreak some havoc and force some turnovers against Texas in this game. Now you look at some key players for Texas. I mentioned Dylan DeSue earlier. He's the big man, transferred from Vanderbilt. He's averaging 10.3 points a game, 6 rebounds a game on 57% shooting, and also 2.5 blocks a game. Now last year at Vanderbilt, he averaged 15 points a game. So the kid can score, and he could be a matchup nightmare inside for the Mountaineers. And then Marcus Carr, forward, leading the team in assists at 3.3 a game, averages 8.6 points. And their best scorer right now so far this year has been forward Timmy Allen. He's averaging 11.9 points a game on 54% shooting. And he's also leading the team with 6.4 rebounds a game. So he's arguably their best all-around player at this point in time. And then we can't forget, they've still got Andrew Jones. If you remember Andrew Jones, he's the kid who came back from having cancer a couple years ago. You remember last year he really hurt West Virginia, making some big shots down the stretch. So and he's back again this year. He's a senior guard for him. I think he's averaging around 9 or 10 a game as well. So he could also play a factor in this game for the Longhorns. Looking at keys to victory for each team, first let's look at the visiting Mountaineers. And this first key goes to both teams, but it's taking care of the basketball. Both teams really win with their defense. Both teams like to force turnovers. Both teams like to get after you. Texas, coached by Chris Beard, we know from his days at Texas Tech how his teams always play good, aggressive, hard defense. So can the Mountaineers take care of the basketball? Also, they need to make their threes. Texas is not great at defending a three-point shot. Can West Virginia exploit that? If they come out cold and missing, could be a long day. If they come out hot and Sean McNeill and Taz and Bridges and these guys are knocking down their three-point shots, it could bode well for the Mountaineers. And then rebounding. Mountaineers have got to improve the rebounding. Now, Texas doesn't rebound the ball particularly well either. So can West Virginia win the battle on the boards in this game? That'll be key. Now for Texas, obviously, just like West Virginia, they need to take care of the basketball. West Virginia also likes to turn their opponents over. They like to use pressure. Sometimes they'll go full court. Sometimes they do half court. They like to switch it up. Can Texas take care of the basketball? And then Texas needs to make their free throws. West Virginia has been known to foul a lot. They foul quite a bit. Most West Virginia fans, we know that because of that aggressive style of defense they play. So can Texas make their free throws? Because West Virginia is probably going to put them on the line a lot. And then good ball movement. West Virginia sometimes struggles against teams who pass the ball really, really well. If Texas comes down and they've got guys and they can work the ball around the perimeter really well and get some open looks, that could go well for them. And it also could spread things out and open things up for them to get the ball inside to DeSue and those other scorers in the paint for the Longhorns. Now my score prediction, I think it's going to be a close game. It's going to be a battle of attrition. It's going to be a battle of wills. It's going to be who wants it the most, who wins a lot of the 50-50 balls, whose defensive pressure works the best. But because the game is in Texas, I'm giving Texas an edge. I think Texas wins the game 64-59. I think both teams come in under their scoring average because I think the defense is just going to be phenomenal in this game. I think it's going to be an exciting game, a lot of turnovers. But I think at the end of the day, because the game's at Texas, I think Texas wins at 64-59. And I think the home crowd at Texas plays a role in this game. Let me know in the comment section what your score prediction is for the game. Let me know what you think about my prediction. Let me know. I'm really looking forward to Big 12 playing basketball. The West Virginia's TCU game coming up on the 3rd has already been postponed because of COVID in the TCU program. So, who knows how many games we're going to actually be able to get in this year. So let's enjoy every one of them, Mountaineer Nation. Like I said, I'm picking Texas to win. I hope I'm wrong. I hope the Mountaineers can pull this one off. I appreciate you tuning in. Q Country Roads.